Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to ask for the price in Spanish? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Caro, and this is 3 Steps Spanish by SpanishPod101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to ask for the price through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta esa pintura? ¿Qué pintura? ¿Esta? Sí, esa. Esta pintura cuesta 15,000 pesos. ¿De dónde es el pintor? Es de Francia. Let's break it down. The first sentence will be our focus. Let's take a look at its elements. Disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta esa pintura? Excuse me, how much does that painting cost? First is the word disculpe, meaning excuse me. You may be familiar with disculpa, the informal way to say excuse me. In this conversation, however, the speaker uses the formal form. Disculpe, disculpe. Next is the phrase ¿cuánto cuesta?, meaning how much does it cost? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? Next is the word esa, meaning that. Esa, esa. Last is the word pintura, meaning painting. Pintura, pintura. Altogether, it's disculpe. ¿Cuánto cuesta esa pintura? Excuse me, how much does that painting cost? Disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta esa pintura? ¿Qué pintura? ¿Esta? Which painting? This one? Sí, esa. Yes, that one. Esta pintura cuesta 15,000 pesos. This painting costs 15,000 pesos. ¿De dónde es el pintor? Where is the painter from? Es de Francia. He is from France. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our examples will follow. The singular pattern is ¿cuánto cuesta? Plus noun phrase. How much does noun phrase cost? And its plural counterpart is ¿cuánto cuestan? Plural noun phrase. How much do plural noun phrase cost? This pattern requires a noun phrase in which a demonstrative adjective whose gender depends on the following noun precedes a noun. To use this pattern, simply replace the noun phrase placeholder with the thing you want to know the price of. Please note that cuesta becomes cuestan to match the plural subject when the item is plural. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta esa pintura? Excuse me, how much does that painting cost? In this sentence, disculpe means excuse me and isn't a part of the pattern. Next is ¿cuánto cuesta?, which means how much does it cost? ¿Cuánto means how much, and cuesta comes from the verb costar, meaning to cost. Cuesta is the third person singular form, which is used for singular nouns. Next is the demonstrative adjective esa, meaning that. The last word of our sentence is pintura, meaning painting. Since it is a feminine singular noun, esa is the correct demonstrative adjective. So, the full sentence, disculpe, ¿cuánto cuesta esa pintura?, means excuse me, how much does that painting cost? Now you can use this structure to ask about the price of anything when shopping in any Spanish-speaking country. In a shopping context, Spanish demonstrative adjectives help you specify which item you're talking about based on location, gender, and number. If an item is close to you, use este for masculine singular and esta for feminine singular. For plurals, go with estos and estas. If an item is far from you, use ese for masculine singular and esa for feminine singular. For plurals, choose esos and esas. Keep this in mind when asking about prices or pointing out items in a store. Now let's look at some speaking examples. ¿Cuánto cuesta esta cartera? How much does this wallet cost? Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. ¿Cuánto cuesta means how much does it cost? Since we are only talking about one item, we use cuesta, which means costs in this case. Next, we have esta cartera, where esta is a demonstrative adjective meaning this. And cartera is a singular feminine noun meaning wallet. Notice that esta is used instead of este because of the noun's gender. So, that is how ¿cuánto cuesta esta cartera? Follows the ¿cuánto cuesta noun phrase pattern. Here's another example. ¿Cuánto cuestan estos libros? How much do these books cost? We notice a pattern where ¿cuánto cuestan is followed by a plural noun phrase. Now, let's see the structure. Here, ¿cuánto means how much and comes before cuestan, which means to cost. But since libros is plural, we use cuestan instead of cuesta. Estos libros means these books. Estos is a demonstrative adjective for plural masculine nouns like libros, books. So, ¿cuánto cuestan estos libros? Perfectly follows the pattern ¿cuánto cuestan? Plural noun phrase. Let's try one more. ¿Cuánto cuesta ese reloj? How much does that watch cost? ¿Cuánto cuesta ese reloj? How much does that watch cost? Another one. ¿Cuánto cuestan esos calcetines? How much do those socks cost? ¿Cuánto cuestan esos calcetines? How much do those socks cost? One more. ¿Cuánto cuesta este vestido? How much does this dress cost? ¿Cuánto cuesta este vestido? How much does this dress cost? One last example. ¿Cuánto cuestan esas flores? How much do those flowers cost? ¿Cuánto cuestan esas flores? How much do those flowers cost? Now you know how to ask for the price in Spanish, and you can move on to the practice. Nos vemos!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to describe something in Spanish? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Caro, and this is 3-Step Spanish by SpanishPod101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to describe something through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Disculpe, ¿qué computadora me recomienda? Pues, esta es muy rápida. Pero no es muy ligera. ¿Qué le parece esta? No es muy rápida, pero es ligera. Además, está en oferta. Let's break it down. The first sentence is, Disculpe, ¿qué computadora me recomienda? Excuse me, which computer do you recommend? After that is the focus statement. Let's take a look at its elements. Pues, esta es muy rápida. Well, this one is very fast. First is the word pues, which means well. It is an informal interjection, often used to introduce a statement or response, similar to well in English. Pues, pues. Next is esta, which means this one. Esta is a demonstrative pronoun referring to a feminine noun, computadora. Esta, esta. After this is es, which means is in English. Es is the third-person singular form of the verb ser, meaning to be. Es, es. Muy means very. It is an adverb used to intensify an adjective. Muy, muy. And finally, rápida means fast. This is the feminine form of the adjective rápido. It agrees with the feminine noun computadora. Rápida, rápida. Altogether it's, pues esta es muy rápida. This translates as, well, this one is very fast. Pero no es muy ligera. But it's not very light. ¿Qué le parece esta? No es muy rápida, pero es ligera. Además está en oferta. How about this one? It's not very fast, but it's light. Besides, it's on sale. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our examples will follow. Subject es muy, adjective. Subject is very, adjective. This sentence structure is used to describe a subject by stating what subject is like. First, we have the subject, which is the thing or person being described. This could be a noun phrase, a pronoun, or a proper noun. Next is es, which comes from the verb ser. This verb means to be, and is used to describe essential qualities. Then we have the adjective, which tells us something about the subject. Optionally, we can add muy, which means very, to emphasize the adjective. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Pues esta es muy rápida. Well, this one is very fast. In this sentence, esta is the subject, meaning this one. It is a demonstrative pronoun referring to something specific that has already been mentioned. In the dialogue, it's the computer, computadora, a feminine singular noun. Thus, the demonstrative pronoun esta will be feminine as well. Es is the verb ser in the third person singular form, meaning to be. Muy is used for emphasis, meaning very. Rápida is the adjective meaning fast. Since esta refers to a feminine noun, rápida also takes the feminine form. So, the full sentence, pues esta es muy rápida, translates to, well, this one is very fast. Now you can use this structure to describe anything in Spanish. In Spanish, most adjectives change based on both gender and number. Many adjectives form the feminine singular by replacing the masculine o, ending with a. For example, bonito, pretty or nice, is the masculine singular form, while the feminine singular form is bonita. Adjectives that end in e or a consonant usually remain the same for both genders in the singular, such as grande, meaning big. For the plural, most adjectives add s if they end in a vowel and es, s, if they end in a consonant. For example, bonito becomes bonitos in the masculine plural and bonitas in the feminine plural. Grande becomes grandes for both masculine and feminine plural forms. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Este sombrero es nuevo. This hat is new. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, este sombrero is the subject, referring to this hat. The demonstrative adjective este means this and modifies sombrero, which means hat. Next, es is the verb ser in the third person singular form, meaning to be. Finally, nuevo is the adjective meaning new. Since sombrero is a masculine singular noun, the adjective nuevo also takes the masculine singular form. So, that is how este sombrero es nuevo fits the pattern subject es adjective. Here's another example. La habitación es muy grande. The room is very big. La habitación es muy grande. The room is very big. Let's try one more. El vestido es muy caro. The dress is very expensive. El vestido es muy caro. The dress is very expensive. Another one. Esta silla es cómoda. This chair is comfortable. Esta silla es cómoda. This chair is comfortable. One last example. La pronunciación del español es fácil. The pronunciation of Spanish is easy. La pronunciación del español es fácil. The pronunciation of Spanish is easy. Now you know how to describe something in Spanish, and you can move to the next practice. Nos vemos!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to say what you want in Spanish? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Caro, and this is 3-Step Spanish by SpanishPod101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to say what you want through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. ¡Wow! Es una habitación muy grande. Esa pintura es muy bonita. A mi esposa también le gusta, pero yo quiero una pintura diferente. ¿Qué tipo de pintura le gustaría? Me gustaría una pintura interesante. Let's hear it with the English translation. Wow, es una habitación grande. Esa pintura es muy bonita. Wow, it's a big room. That painting is very pretty. After that is the focus statement. Let's take a look at its elements. A mi esposa también le gusta, pero yo quiero una pintura diferente. My wife likes it too, but I want a different painting. First is the sentence, a mi esposa también le gusta, or my wife likes it too. A mi esposa también le gusta. A mi esposa también le gusta. Next is pero, meaning but. Pero, pero. Yo is the subject, meaning I. Yo, yo. After this is the verb, quiero, meaning want. Quiero, quiero. Next is the phrase una pintura, meaning a painting. Una pintura, una pintura. Last is the word diferente, meaning different. Diferente, diferente. Altogether it's, pero yo quiero una pintura diferente. But I want a different painting. ¿Qué tipo de pintura le gustaría? What kind of painting would you like? Me gustaría una pintura interesante. I would like an interesting painting. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that most of our examples will follow. Quiero, noun phrase, adjective. I want, noun phrase, adjective. Let's look at the first part. Quiero. Quiero comes from the verb querer, which means to want. Quiero is the first person singular form, so it means I want. It's used when the speaker is saying what they would like to have or do. Next comes the noun phrase. This is the thing the speaker wants. After that, we add an adjective to describe the noun. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Pero yo quiero una pintura diferente, but I want a different painting. In this sentence, first is the phrase pero yo, meaning but I. This is not part of the pattern. Quiero means I want. Una pintura is a noun phrase. It means a painting. Una is the feminine article a, and pintura is a feminine noun meaning painting. Then comes the word diferente, the adjective, meaning different. In Spanish, adjectives typically come after the noun they describe, not before it like in English. So, this part, quiero una pintura diferente, follows the pattern perfectly. Quiero, noun phrase, adjective. Now you can use this structure to express what you want in Spanish. Let's talk about the difference between quiero and me gustaría. In Spanish, both quiero and me gustaría can be used to express desires, but they differ in tone and politeness. Quiero means I want. It's direct and commonly used in casual situations. On the other hand, me gustaría means I would like. It's more polite and softer in tone. Let's take a look at a pattern with me gustaría. Me gustaría, noun phrase, adjective. I would like, noun phrase, adjective. Let's look at the first part, me gustaría. Me means to me, and gustaría comes from the verb gustar, meaning to be pleasing. So, me gustaría literally means it would be pleasing to me, but it translates as I would like. After that is a noun phrase. This is what the speaker wants. Then comes the adjective, which describes the noun. So, the full pattern, me gustaría, noun phrase, adjective, is used to express polite desires for something specific and descriptive. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. Me gustaría una pintura interesante. I would like an interesting painting. In this sentence, me gustaría expresses I would like. Una pintura is a noun phrase, meaning a painting. Interesante is the adjective, meaning interesting. It comes after the noun, which is typical in Spanish. So, me gustaría una pintura interesante translates to I would like an interesting painting. Now let's look at some speaking examples. Me gustaría un coche japonés. I would like a Japanese car. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, me gustaría means I would like. It's a polite way to say you want something, and it always comes at the beginning of this pattern. Un coche is a noun phrase, meaning a car. This is what the speaker wants. Japonés is the adjective, meaning Japanese. It describes the kind of car and comes after the noun in Spanish. So, that's how me gustaría un coche japonés fits the pattern me gustaría, noun phrase, adjective. Here's another example. Quiero un gato negro. I want a black cat. Quiero un gato negro. I want a black cat. Let's try one more. Me gustaría una pintura bonita. I would like a pretty painting. Me gustaría una pintura bonita. I would like a pretty painting. Another one. Quiero una computadora nueva. I want a new computer. Quiero una computadora nueva. I want a new computer. One last example. Quiero un sombrero nuevo. I want a new hat. Quiero un sombrero nuevo. I want a new hat. Now you know how to say what you want in Spanish, and you can move on to the next practice. Nos vemos!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Japanese ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to manage a hotel check-in in Spanish? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Caro, and this is 3-Step Spanish by SpanishPod101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn about managing hotel check-ins in Spanish through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. La entrada es a partir de las 3. Todavía tenemos 30 minutos. Ahí está el lobby. ¿Quieres café? Sí, por favor. ¿Qué tipo de alberca hay aquí? Es una alberca techada. Está abierta hasta las 10 de la noche. Let's break it down. The first sentence will be one of the two we focus on. Let's take a look at its elements. La entrada es a partir de las 3. Check-in starts at 3. First is the phrase la entrada, or the check-in, or literally the entry. La entrada. La entrada. Next is the phrase es a partir de, meaning starts at. Es a partir de. Es a partir de. Last is the phrase las tres, meaning 3 o'clock. Las tres. Las tres. Altogether, it's la entrada es a partir de las tres. This literally means the entry is from 3, but it translates as check-in starts at 3. Todavía tenemos 30 minutos. Ahí está el lobby. ¿Quieres café? We still have 30 minutes. The lobby is over there. Want some coffee? Sí, por favor. ¿Qué tipo de alberca hay aquí? Yes, please. What kind of pool is there here? The final sentence will be the second one we analyze. Let's examine its components. Es una alberca techada. Está abierta hasta las 10 de la noche. It's an indoor pool. It's open until 10 p.m. First is es, meaning is. Es. Es. Next is the phrase una alberca, meaning a pool. Una alberca. Una alberca. Next is the word techada, meaning roofed or covered. Techada. Techada. Altogether, it's es una alberca techada. This literally means it's a covered pool, but it translates as it's an indoor pool. Next is the word está, meaning is. Está. Está. After this is the word abierta, meaning open. Abierta. Abierta. Next is the phrase hasta las 10, meaning until 10. Hasta las 10. Hasta las 10. Last is the phrase de la noche, meaning at night or p.m. De la noche. De la noche. Altogether, it's está abierta hasta las 10 de la noche. This literally means it's open until 10 of the night, but it translates as it's open until 10 p.m. Let's look at the sentence pattern. The first pattern is the structure that some of our examples will follow. Subject es a partir de time. Subject starts at time. Let's start with es a partir de. This phrase literally means is from or starts from. It's a very natural way in Spanish to talk about the time when something begins. A partir de is a fixed phrase. You'll use it to talk about starting points in time. And es just means is. Together, es a partir de translates to starts at or begins at. Before that is the subject you're talking about, whatever is starting. That might be a meal, an event, or something like check-in or entry. After that is the time, a specific hour, often with las, number. Let's see how a line from the dialogue follows this pattern. La entrada es a partir de las 3. Check-in starts at 3. In this sentence, la entrada is the subject. It means the entry or check-in. Es a partir de is the phrase we just talked about, meaning starts at. Las 3 is the time, 3 o'clock. So, la entrada es a partir de las 3 translates to check-in starts at 3. Now you can use this structure to talk about when things begin. For the next pattern, let's look at how to say until what time something will be. Subject, está abierto or abierta hasta time. Subject is open until time. Let's focus first on está abierto or está abierta. Está means is, and abierto or abierta means open. The form changes depending on the gender of the noun. If the subject is masculine, we use abierto. If it's feminine, we use abierta. Next is hasta, which means until. This word tells us how long something remains open. Then comes the time. Let's see how the second focus from the dialogue follows this pattern. Está abierta hasta las 10 de la noche. It's open until 10 p.m. In this sentence, está means is. Abierta is the word for open, and here it's the feminine form because the subject, which we understand from the context, is a feminine noun, like la alberca, the pool. Hasta means until. And finally, las 10 de la noche is the time, 10 p.m. So, está abierta hasta las 10 de la noche translates to it's open until 10 p.m. Now you can use this structure to say how late a place is open. In Spanish, the way you say the time can include a phrase that tells what part of the day it is. If something happens in the morning, you add de la mañana. If it happens at noon, you say del mediodía. In the afternoon, you use de la tarde. In the evening or at night, you use de la noche. And if it happens at midnight, you say de la medianoche. These phrases help make the time clear. If you want to say something happens at an exact time in Spanish, add en punto after the time. For example, a las 9 en punto, meaning at 9 o'clock sharp. En punto means on the dot or sharp. Now let's look at some speaking examples. La tienda está abierta hasta las 8 de la noche. The store is open until 8 p.m. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, la tienda is the subject. The place we are talking about. It means the store. Está means is. And abierta is the word for open. It ends in A because tienda is a feminine noun, so we use the feminine form abierta. Hasta means until, and las 8 de la noche tells us the time, 8 p.m. That's how la tienda está abierta hasta las 8 de la noche fits the pattern subject, está abierto o abierta hasta time. Here's another example. La comida en el restaurante es a partir de las 12 del mediodía. Lunch at the restaurant starts at 12 p.m. La comida en el restaurante es a partir de las 12 del mediodía. Lunch at the restaurant starts at 12 p.m. Let's try one more. La biblioteca está abierta hasta las 7 de la noche. The library is open until 7 p.m. La biblioteca está abierta hasta las 7 de la noche. The library is open until 7 p.m. Another one. El museo está abierto hasta las 6 de la tarde. The museum is open until 6 p.m. El museo está abierto hasta las 6 de la tarde. The museum is open until 6 p.m. One last example. La entrada a la alberca es a partir de las 9 de la mañana. Entry to the pool starts at 9 a.m. La entrada a la alberca es a partir de las 9 de la mañana. Entry to the pool starts at 9 a.m. Now you know how to manage a hotel check-in in Spanish, and you can move on to the practice. ¡Nos vemos!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to discuss plans in Spanish? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Caro, and this is 3 Steps Spanish by SpanishPod101.com. In this lesson, you learn to discuss plans in Spanish through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. ¿Tienes planes para el sábado? No, no tengo. Estoy libre el sábado. Entonces, ¿nos vemos en mi gimnasio? Me parece bien. Por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en la Condesa. ¿Quieres venir? Sí, claro. Let's hear it with the English translation. ¿Tienes planes para el sábado? Do you have any plans for Saturday? No, no tengo. Estoy libre el sábado. No, I don't. I'm free on Saturday. Entonces, ¿nos vemos en mi gimnasio? So, should we meet at my gym? Me parece bien. Sounds good to me. The next sentence will be the one we analyze. Let's examine its components. Por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en la Condesa. ¿Quieres venir? At night, I'm going to drink with my friends in La Condesa. Want to come? First is the phrase por la noche, meaning at night. Por la noche. Por la noche. Next is the phrase voy a beber, meaning I'm going to drink. Voy a beber. Voy a beber. After this is the phrase con mis amigos, meaning with my friends. Con mis amigos. Con mis amigos. Next is the phrase en la Condesa, meaning in la Condesa. En la Condesa. En la Condesa. Together it's por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en la Condesa. At night I'm going to drink with my friends in la Condesa. Last is the sentence ¿Quieres venir? Meaning want to come? ¿Quieres venir? ¿Quieres venir? Altogether it's por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en la Condesa. ¿Quieres venir? At night I'm going to drink with my friends in la Condesa. Want to come? Sí, claro. Sure. Let's look at the sentence pattern. This pattern is the structure that all of our examples will follow. Voy a verb. Con people. And place. Let's look at the first part. Voy a verb. Voy comes from the verb ir, which means to go. Voy a means I'm going to, and it's always followed by a verb in its base form, also called the infinitive. For example, beber is the infinitive form of the verb to drink. So, voy a beber means I'm going to drink. Next is con people, meaning with people. Con is the word for with, and it's followed by whoever you are doing the activity with. After that is en place, meaning in or at place. En is used to show location, and it works for both in and at. So, the full sentence structure is voy a verb con people en place. This means I'm going to verb with people at in place. Let's see how a line from a dialogue follows this pattern. Por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en La Condesa. Por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en La Condesa. At night, I'm going to drink with my friends in La Condesa. In this sentence, por la noche adds extra information about when the action is happening. It means at night. It's not part of the pattern. Voy a beber follows the pattern. Voy a means I'm going to, and beber is the verb to drink. Con mis amigos fits the next part of the pattern. Con means with, and mis amigos means my friends. En la Condesa shows where the action will happen. En means in, and La Condesa is the place. So, the sentence por la noche voy a beber con mis amigos en La Condesa follows our pattern exactly. It translates as, at night I'm going to drink with my friends in La Condesa. Now, you can use this structure to talk about your plans in Spanish, whether you are going drinking with your friends or doing something else entirely. In many Spanish-speaking countries, especially in places like Mexico and Spain, meeting up with friends for a drink is an important part of social life. In Mexico, people often gather at cantinas or terrazas to drink beer or tequila, sometimes accompanied by botanas, which are snacks like peanuts, chips, or small tacos. These gatherings are a chance to relax, catch up, and enjoy the vibrant local culture. In Spain, it's common to go out for tapas in the evening, small shared dishes that are often enjoyed with beer or wine. It's as much about socializing as it is about eating. Now, let's look at some speaking examples. Voy a estudiar con mi compañero en la biblioteca. I'm going to study with my classmate at the library. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Here, voy a means I'm going to, and estudiar is the verb in its base form, meaning to study. This follows the voy a verb structure. Con mi compañero means with my classmate, and it fits the con people part of the pattern. En la biblioteca means at the library, which matches the en place structure. So, voy a estudiar con mi compañero en la biblioteca fits perfectly into the sentence pattern voy a, verb, con, people, en, place, meaning I'm going to study with my classmate at the library. Here's another example. Voy a caminar con mi amigo en el jardín. I'm going to walk with my friend in the garden. Voy a caminar con mi amigo en el jardín. I'm going to walk with my friend in the garden. Let's try one more. Voy a cocinar con mi hija en la fiesta. I'm going to cook with my daughter at the party. Voy a cocinar con mi hija en la fiesta. I'm going to cook with my daughter at the party. Another one. Voy a correr con mis colegas en el parque. I'm going to run with my colleagues at the park. Voy a correr con mis colegas en el parque. I'm going to run with my colleagues in the park. One last example. Voy a comprar una computadora con mi papá en el centro comercial. I'm going to buy a computer with my father at the mall. Voy a comprar una computadora con mi papá en el centro comercial. I'm going to buy a computer with my father at the mall. Now you know how to discuss plans in Spanish, and you can move on to the practice. Nos vemos!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.